FPV drones come in a variety of different shapes and sizes. Right here in front of me I have a 3-inch drone, a 5-inch drone and a 7-inch drone. Each would be usable for a different purpose. So this 3-inch drone I would generally use indoors when I need to fly close to people and hit small gaps. Thanks to its size, it's a lot easier to maneuver in small spaces. It also doesn't generate as much thrust, therefore it won't be jolted around in the air thanks to its own wind. And it also has these guards which help you not hurt people when you're flying close to them. Then I have this 5-inch drone, which generally is the most common size amongst FPV drones. It can be used for freestyle, it can be used for racing, it can be used for cinematic. It's a very versatile size of a drone, and it's probably one of my favorites as well. And lastly, I have this 7-inch drone. This one would be really useful for long-range flying or flying across a landscape, thanks to a few factors. Firstly, thanks to its larger propellers, it can stay in the air for longer because it uses the energy from the battery more efficiently. It also has a GPS module, meaning that if I ever lose signal with it, it will attempt to fly back to me so I can regain signal and get it back. And thanks to its larger antennas, it also gets better range. And no matter which drone you fly, you will always need a set of goggles and a controller. And which one you will need depends on which system you're flying and what are your preferences. So I personally fly the DJI FPV system, which classifies as a digital system, which is the one with better quality and better range. So if you're flying analog, you can find radios or controllers anywhere between 1,000 and 500 Danish krone, which is roughly 150 pounds, all the way up to 5,000 Danish krone or 500 pounds. Some of the most notable brands are Fat Shark and Skyzone. In terms of goggles, the price is generally around the same for analog as with the radios. So you can find very cheap ones starting as low as 1,000 krone, going all the way up to 5,000 krone, which in British pounds is around 100 pounds to 550 pounds. To learn more about analog radios and headsets, I would recommend checking out YouTube reviews and scouring the internet, because I personally don't have too much experience with them, so I would feel bad recommending you brands that I don't know of. When it comes to digital, your options are a little bit more limited. Currently on the market, there are very few companies creating digital transmission systems. One of the most notable ones was DJI, which recently stopped producing their air units which are inside the drones. So instead they started to produce their own DJI FPV drone. There's still a company called CADX, which produces these air units that you can put inside your drones and connect them to your old goggles and radios. So if you buy a drone with a digital FPV system inside of it, you will need to buy DJI goggles or DJI radio. There is a possibility to switch out the radio for a different brand, but you will need to install a separate receiver on your drone. I personally use the DJI goggles version 1, the DJI radio version 1, and the DJI FPV air unit. DJI stopped producing the air units that you would find inside of this particular drone, but you can still get the DJI FPV drone, which I would actually say is a really good beginner drone because it has a lot of the features that these drones don't have. It has a better function of return to home than any of these drones, and can also hover in the air if you ever don't feel safe and you can just stop and pull in the air. However, it does come at a cost of around 10 to 11,000 krone for the whole set, that is the goggles, the radio and the DJI FPV drone, which isn't that far off from the price of these drones, but it's just something to consider.